So because I've been working on other videos this week for my main channel, which you should totally check out, I haven't really been able to write what I'm going to do for the video on this channel this week. So basically, I'm doing this all off the top of my head, the morning of the day that it's being uploaded. Today, I'm going to be talking about the Christmas specials that have come out every year since Doctor Who has returned to television in 2005. I was going to wear a Santa hat for this, but I don't have a Santa hat, and it's really unfortunate. However, there are a couple rules for this list. Number one, I'm doing these in chronological/release order. So I'm going to be starting with the Christmas Invasion and then do Runaway Bride and etc. etc. Two, it's only going to be the Christmas specials. I'm not going to do every special on this box set. I'm just going to do, from this box set, The Next Doctor and The End of Time, parts 1 and 2. Now I know that The End of Time Part 2 first transmitted on the 1st of January 2010 in the UK, but it's still the second half of a Christmas special, so I'm counting it. One last thing to remember is that this is all opinion. And unlike my last video, I'm not really going to go into things that other people think about the special, maybe a little bit, but not really that much. This is, by and large, my opinion on all of these. Number one, the Christmas Invasion. A lot of people really like this episode, and to be honest, it's just sort of okay to me. I mean, yeah, it's got a few good bits, like when the 10th Doctor is roaming about his TARDIS getting new clothes. I kind of like that. Or when he's sword fighting with a Sycorax out on the outside of their ship. But overall, it's just sort of okay to me. I don't have much of an opinion on it. It's just, okay, we've got this new Doctor. He's sort of comatose, I guess. He's not doing too hot. And then he wakes up because of hot tea. And it is established right off the bat for new viewers who may not really know about Doctor Who at this point because there's only been one series, that when the Doctor regenerates, he does change dramatically. As a result of just one statement from the 10th Doctor, Harriet Jones pretty much tanks politically, and all because she just couldn't let the Sycorax go. Now there's a whole moral repercussion to that, and honestly, damned if you do, damned if you don't, because there are good reasons on both sides of the argument as for why you should, let the Sycorax get away or kill them. And I'm not really going to add to that. I think pretty much all points have been said at some point. Number two, the Runaway Bride. I actually had to think about the name for a second. Again, it's just sort of okay. I mean, I like the design of the Rachnos, but other than that, it's just sort of okay. Donna in a wedding dress just roaming about with the Doctor is hilarious at times. They reused the evil robot Santas from Christmas Invasion, and that just feels cheap and lazy. The scene where the TARDIS is chasing after that taxi is still something great to watch. And this is our introduction to Donna Noble, who, as we know, would become the companion for Series 4. And she's great here. I love Catherine Tate in Doctor Who. I really like the character of Donna. I really like how Catherine Tate plays the character. I'm glad they brought her back for Series 4, but this isn't about Series 4. This is about the Runaway Bride. See, I had to think about the name again. It felt a bit contrived to get Donna into the TARDIS with her job and her boss or coworker or whoever working for the Rachnos. It's no words. I really don't want to dwell on the Runaway Bride anymore. I'll definitely be watching it again. I mean, I end up watching pretty much all of Doctor Who that I've seen at some point, but it's not going to be because I really want to see it. Number three, Voyage of the Damned. I actually kind of like this one. The Titanic is one of the biggest things in human history, one of the greatest and most horrible tragedies in human history. So we knew that Doctor Who as a show would tackle it at some point in the revival. We just didn't expect it to be Space Titanic, which is, something Futurama already did, but whatever, I'm open. Unlike previous Christmas specials up to this point, Voyage of the Damned actually is pretty simple to me. Something funny about Voyage of the Damned is that it's the first Christmas special that I caught on BBC America in its full length. Because the thing is, on BBC America, when you have a special length episode of Doctor Who on a rerun, they will cut a lot of it out. They will trim it down to 45 minutes and have another 10-15 minutes of commercials. I like the set design and the special effects used in Voyage of the Damned. I actually really do like the throwaway characters, if you will. Astrid Peth, I actually kind of liked her. Kylie Minogue is great as Astrid Peth. There, I said it. I said something positive. The one thing that sits wrong with me with this episode is the Queen waving at the Titanic and saying, "Thank you, Doctor." It's a nitpick. It just sort of rubs me the wrong way. It's just sort of, really, why? But don't dwell on it. It's not like it ruins the episode for me. Also, we get to see Bernard Cribbins. He appears in this for Series 4. That's something. Number 4, The Next Doctor. From what I know, this one's sort of seen as lukewarm. I actually do like it. At this point, the 10th Doctor already knows that he's going to regenerate at some point. You know, the Ood have told him that. And this is sort of an interesting little take on, oh, this is going to be my next incarnation? He seems like a bumbling fool. Oh, I see why. Miss Hartigan, I think, is a really neat villain. I'm not going to say interesting. I don't remember if she has any motivation outside of, oh hey, it's these guys, they have power, I want power, let's do it. That giant steampunk Cyberman in the middle of, what was it, 1800s London? I can't remember. Someone correct me in the comments. It's been a while since I've watched this. I'm going from memory. That is an interesting sight to see, and I'm not really a fan of steampunk. I'm more of a cyberpunk person. David Morrissey is great as the Next Doctor. I think that he's got this charisma, this energy. He's just so into it. And then when the downer stuff comes, he pulls it off so well, but his character just keeps going. I actually wouldn't mind seeing David Morrissey as an incarnation of the Doctor. I think he'd be pretty interesting. Number 5, The End of Time. A lot of people really like The End of Time, and at one point it was my favorite Doctor Who story, but it's just... Now, like I said, I'm not going to dwell on the opinions of other people and the fandom. This is my opinion. But The End of Time, to me, seems to be sort of over-bloated, and just sort of a way to contrive this big and epic story for the sake of it being the 10th Doctor's last hurrah. Timothy Dalton is absolutely fantastic as Rassilon in this. We've had so many Rassilons. I'm pretty sure I haven't seen all of them. I remember the one from the 5 Doctors. I believe that there are others. I'd have to look again. But Timothy Dalton is just fantastic. John Sim gives a great performance again, as always, but he's a bit hammy. John Sim does play it up, probably because, you know, this is supposed to be the Master, only half reincarnated. He's really insane, which, you know, the Master's always been insane to some extent. But overall, The End of Time just really doesn't sit that well with me. It feels too long, it feels like it dragged at some points, it's a bit bloated. And ultimately that end scene at the end of part 2 with the regeneration, it just feels as though Russell T Davies probably wrote the scene to make us hate Matt Smith when he comes along. Maybe. I'm not saying that's what he actually did, but meh. The scene really got to me the first time I saw it and the second time, but now it's just... I don't feel anything, and the reason for that is for a different video. I'm not going to say what video, but I have started working on it. Matt Smith at the end is just great. I really do like his little scene at the end where the TARDIS is exploding and he's commenting on his body. He's going a bit bonkers. And it's a great lead into The 11th Hour, which is one of my favorites of Doctor Who in general. Number 6, A Christmas Carol. This is my favorite New Who Christmas special. Now, we all know the story of A Christmas Carol. You have this person who hates Christmas. He's visited by 3 ghosts to see his past, present, and future. And he ultimately learns the joy of the holiday and the season. And this plays out pretty much like that. I'm not going to give away the ending, but this really is a beautiful story, and I really like it. I could just, if I had the Series 6 box set, I would just pop it in every Christmas. I'd pop it in. So why is the lighting going like that? Or is it my camera? Number 7, The Doctor, the Widow, and the Wardrobe. This special sucks. It's so bad. It's just so bad. Number 8, The Snowmen. The Snowmen is bland and forgettable. Jenna Coleman's not bad in this episode. It's the material. The new TARDIS makes an appearance. I do like this new TARDIS. The 11th Doctor is shown to be a bit more of a grump, which, you know, that's alright. He hasn't gotten over the deaths of Amy and Rory, But ultimately, we all know that this episode was really just set up for Series 7 Part 2. And that series really didn't have much going for it, to be perfectly honest. The Snowmen was just sort of meh, not really that good. And number 9, The Time of the Doctor. This is my second favorite of the Christmas specials. We were supposed to have all these plot points resolved, but ultimately only a couple of them got recognition or resolution. It's explained that the Silence blew up the TARDIS, or at least a small sect of radicals did. But how did they blow up the TARDIS? Did they put a bomb inside? Did they decide to write a bomb, put a bomb on the outside? What happened there? It's not really clearly explained. Tasha Lem is just sort of there for no real reason. And the whole Trenzalore thing just sort of falls apart. The Doctor does die there, technically, but it's just sort of, when you look back at Name of the Doctor, it's just, does that, what, there's no TARDIS grave there. Did he alter his future? What? It has problems, but it does get very emotional. Clara is a bit better here. Jenna Coleman is given slightly better material to work with, but ultimately it's just sort of, it's just okay. But considering that okay is my second best, that says a lot. So next week, Last Christmas is going to be on. I may or may not take a day off from this next Thursday so that I can give my proper impressions on Friday or Saturday, so stay tuned for that, and I'm sorry for the sort of haphazardness of this video. See you then.